Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech protected.
Good morning, Bellows Falls, and welcome to the feed. It's Mike and Marty. We're here on February 24th. This is our last feed of February 2021.
I know. I have found out an interesting fact about February.
Oh, what was it?
That February 29th, 30th, and 31st are the days of the month, the days in February that men are always right.
Okay. On that note,
I just thought I'd bring a little humor to the fact this morning.
I appreciate that. That's very good.
No worries.
Local events?
Local events. So we have coming up tomorrow night, we have the Select Board Candidate Forum happening in the lower theater of the Town Hall. We'll start at 6 p.m. We're hoping to be finished by 8 p.m. or even maybe a little bit earlier. We have all but one of the candidates participating. So we'll have Stephen Golick, Bonnie North, Cass Wright, Jonathan Wright, Rick Cowan, and Eliza Zimmer.
Yeah, so that should be really interesting. It'll be a chance for people to sort of see everybody together. We're trying to keep up with what we've tried to do in the past despite COVID and everything else. And that'll be a chance for people to see who the candidates are, what they look like, and then general opinions of what they stand for and why they want to be select people.
Yep. And what we'll do is we have about, I think we decided on about 3 fairly general questions that we'll ask each of the candidates to answer. We're not hard news. We're not going to be throwing them tough questions. Just some general questions that we think that the audience might want to know about. And then you have the ability to Zoom in to the meeting. The link was sent out. Alex sent the link out to all of the participants. And if you wanted to be able to get the link, he probably is going to post it on.
Yeah, he'll put it on Facebook before we go.
And then we'll have time, hopefully at the end, for anybody that's on the Zoom link, anybody in the public, to ask questions as well. We'll leave a period of general populist questions.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. And then next Tuesday, everybody remember is town meeting day, and that's the day we're going to vote for whatever, for all of the articles that need to be passed this year, the budget and everything. They're going to have a informational meeting on Monday night in the Opera House, similar to what used to be the town meeting. And the difference being it'll be in person and people can go there and ask questions and everything else, but you can't make changes. You won't be able to introduce a change to the budget or introduce a motion or anything like that. It'll be more of an informational, you can still ask questions, but it won't be the ability to make changes.
You can't make amendments.
Yeah, you can't make amendments. And then everything will be voted on the day after by Australian ballot at the in the polling places. And they've set up a whole bunch of options so that you can poll in person, you can, I believe, drive up, and then also if people are doing absentee, they can do absentee.
Right. So lots of options.
Okay, but today we're here and we're going to speak with, in the series that we've been trying to highlight local artists. And today we have Caitlin Pollock from the River Valley Artisans Co-op, and she does drawings and
She does amazing drawings.
yes, she does amazing drawings. And I think Caitlin, we'll go to you. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Great. Well, we're doing good. First of all, tell us, I guess, a little bit about who you are, where you are, and the work that you do.
So I'm Caitlin Pollock, and I'm actually right out in Rockingham, and I also work at the River Artisans, not River Valley Artisans. So that's where a lot of my work is sold locally to you guys. And anyways, I do a lot of different mediums. I work in graphite, which is just pencil, and I do colored pencil, and I do pastel, and I do oil painting, and I do watercolor, and I think that's all, just 5.
Oh, that's great. I'm sorry about the putting that valley. I have it written
No,
right,
you're fine.
and I
I know.
never seem to say it right. Go ahead, Marty.
Because
Sorry.
you have it stuck in your head. So how did you get into, I'm mostly curious about because I have purchased a few pet portraits from you. I'm curious how you got into pet portraits.
Well, pet portraits kind of just happened naturally. I haven't been doing art for that long. It all started, for the most part, about a year ago, right before COVID hit. And I had a childhood trauma that I hadn't really dealt with or healed from or even, really recognized it. And I had just over time become very, angry and bitter and depressed and anxious, fearful, shamed, all of that. And so I was drawn to art as a way to heal. And it was right before COVID and things were kind of shutting down. And I'm like, I just need to do something creative in order to, just become a healthier individual. And, COVID was a really good time to sit down and, start art and, become an artist and start on this career path. So the pet portraits just kind of happened by themselves. I was always drawn to doing, learning how to do animals. And then when I was doing practice on my own, I would use my dog as an example. And so, the pet portraits just happened naturally. I really liked doing them. I put them up on my Etsy page. Everybody was buying pet portraits for me. So that kind of just became like a mainstay. But, the art is really important. And I don't just do pet portraits. I do so many other things. And, I use that time as my healing. And, as a time for prayer and meditation and relaxation, peace, grace, all of that. So, art is just important to me in general. The pet portraits is just a small section of what I do. I do so many other things. So, yeah, I really do like the pet portraits, and I know they mean a lot to, those who have lost pets, and they're important to me. It's a big responsibility to try to capture the spirit of that animal.
I find it fascinating. I had no idea that you just, you kind of are new to this because I find,
Yeah, me too.
let's actually show the time lapse.
Yeah, we're gonna go and show some videos, but I would really want to come back too because you just amazed me with that little what you were just talking about, because I would have assumed you had been in art for a long time.
Yeah.
So, Colin, can we go to clip? And that was the first clip, I think.
I hope everyone watching saw that that literally, in my opinion, he came to life on the page. You totally captured the essence of Jake. And to hear that you've only been doing this for a year, you have a gift. Truly have a gift. And
it's been less than a year with the pastels. I just bought my first set last summer, but yeah, I mean, it's just so important to me. I make myself sit down and practice like 3 hours a day, and really it's a good excuse to get away from my kids and my family and kind of the craziness of life. But I absolutely love it. I really do believe it's a gift. I just think that it's a blessing in order to help me kind of have this inner peace, and it's been absolutely amazing. Art therapy works for a lot of people, and it has worked for me, so it's great.
That is amazing. But so would you say you get into sort of a state, like it's almost a meditative state when you're doing the art that allows you to like I don't want to say to be in another space and to actually
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I get in my studio and I shut everybody out. I lock the door, I turn on some music, and I really just I just get into like the zone, It's not something I start for a little while and then, I go have a cup of coffee and come back. It's not like that. I literally get in there for 5 hours. When you watch those time-lapse videos, my camera is right above. So I'm sitting there for about 4 or 5 hours doing that. And, I don't stop until it's done. And that goes until into the night sometimes. It's really great.
Yeah. Colin, do we have a second one? Okay, we're gonna watch another one, then come back again because
Okay.
yeah. Again, just unbelievable. That's just so that's one setting. You sit down and from the beginning to the end, then that's just even
Yeah.
more amazing. Because I was watching the time lapses before because as sort of we do TV and we do production, and one of the things that we have done is some time lapses, but never to that to that extent. That is just a truly wonderful thing. And
Yeah.
it illustrates the process, but one of the things that you talked about before is that if you're doing one of these and you're doing it for a person, I don't know whether you call them clients or customers or whoever
Yeah.
commissioned you to do it, they can actually get a copy of that then? If
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, I kind of made it a habit to always have this, especially because I'm trying to build up, some Facebook content and maybe even some YouTube videos or things like that for, other artists that are interested in doing this sort of thing. And, it's just, I'm going to have them. And I believe that in the future, for anyone who buys one of these commissioned pieces, will get a copy of the video when they're done. Because, it's a nice gift also, so they can show their friends. Not only do I have this really beautiful piece of art to show, but hey, this is a process. It's amazing. And, it does kind of come to life. So it's really exciting to have.
What's your favorite of the mediums that you do? What's your favorite?
I would probably have to say pastel. It's one of the only ones that you actually get to touch. There's no tools involved. You're only using your fingers in the pastel. And so, it's really having an intimate relationship a little bit with that drawing because you're physically putting it on yourself. There's no paintbrush, there's no pencil involved for the most part. It's, it's a lot of touching and it's really it just feels like you have a better connection with the piece. I think they come out better probably for that reason too.
Nice.
And again, but when you're doing pastel, then are you doing like a still life or a landscape, or I mean, what is that normally? I guess what is normally the subject?
Yeah, I do. I produce all sorts of things. When anybody asks me to commission, obviously I'm happy to do pets and animals, but I also, and it's right here.
That's great. I was hoping she.
This is a landscape I did, and I just did this a couple of days ago. It's just, matted this morning, and this is a landscape, and, it's really nice to have, other things than just dogs and animals, landscapes are another really great thing to do with pastel, so I do those as well. And, and I do still lifes as well, but I do, oil paintings for the still lifes. Do you know what I mean? So this is not pastel, this would be an oil painting. And so, just depending, I choose my medium depending on what the subject is. Some things just are better for pastel and some things are better in colored pencil, watercolor, etc. So that's kind of how I choose.
Yeah. Again, sorry, I don't mean to.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah. Did you go to school for this? Because you have an amazing. It looks like it. I mean, the paintings are just fantastic. I mean, and you're like raw talent that you've decided to do this, and this is where it started. Wow. I mean,
yeah, I went to school to be a chemist actually, and I was in the science field for a long time. And during that time that I was, working in labs and that sort of academic lifestyle, and always just trying to, get the most information and read and have the most, papers published and things like that. There was no creativity for me, and I did during those times buy art supplies and try to get into doing art, but it never stuck. I could never I just didn't have the time to sit down and really learn. And so I was always discouraged with what I had, and art supplies sat in boxes downstairs collecting dust. And then, finally last year, I'm like, you know what, this is a really good time to just do this. And when I switched my attitude toward an attitude of, trying to do good and trying to just copy what I see other people do, I switched it to kind of being like, all right, this is my time. And, if I produce a bunch of junk, it doesn't matter. I can throw it away. Nobody will ever know. It's not about being perfect. It's about just focusing on myself. And once I made that switch, that's when this beautiful art started to appear. It was like a mindset change.
That is.
It's inspiring, actually.
It is very inspiring.
I mean, I'm hoping anyone that's listening that's, I think all of us kind of, well, maybe not all of us, but I think a lot of people would like to think they have an inner artist, but they're afraid, to.
Right.
And it is a great way to just get into some self-expression and get into your head and some you time. And so I just find that inspiring, and maybe I'm hoping that someone listening gets inspired. So then you decided to create this art. So then how did you go about, okay, I have it, I'm going to market it. Was it hard to decide to sell it? Sometimes people don't like, I know some people don't like to let things go.
Yes, well, I don't mind selling it. I'll give it away. For me, I started with Etsy, and I wasn't really getting a lot of traction with the Etsy page, but I was at least getting myself out there and boosting my confidence a little bit, and able to call myself an artist. The hardest thing for me is pricing. I always feel like I never want to value myself as much as I do, so I end up giving art away and not charging as much as I should, and so that's something I'm trying to work on too. So, it started with Etsy, and then I joined the River Artisans Cooperative, and that really gave me an excuse, I have to, I can't give up this now. Now I'm an employee. Now I have to really be an artist all the time, and so, it made me, provided some accountability for my art so that I'm always doing it every day. And so that was my next step. And now I'm just starting to get myself out there on Facebook, and I just started my Facebook page, last week. So don't be afraid of the 4 followers I have. It's a legit page. But anyways, yeah, I'm trying to, broaden my horizons a little bit, and I'm teaming up with a local charity here in Boston, and they're going to be giving away some of my art, so as a for an auction. And so I'm trying to do good things with my art, and not just keep them and store them and hang them on my own walls. I want to give them and be a blessing to other people, just the way the art is to me.
Yeah. Well, you said 2 things that I thought was very interesting. Is one, that when you let go of trying to be like other artists, then you became good. I thought, isn't that is the classic definition of an artist, is that it's not copy, it's your expression and your way of bringing things out. And then the second thing was that you do it every day, that you work at it. Because I was reading about writers, and they said every day you have to sit down and do it, or it's like putting in the time to get good at it.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely. And I have a sketchbook, and so here it is. And I try every morning to do a little bit. And you need to give yourself permission a little bit to fail. And so this was a good thing, but I fooled around with some deer, and that didn't really look very good. But then on the next page, I had another good day of art. Do you know what I mean? So you have to give yourself permission to fail, I think, and not feel so, all right, well, I already know it's going to come out bad, so I'm not even going to waste the art supplies. I'll just do it another day, or I'll watch a bunch of other tutorials, and I'll really, feel more confident but you can't do that. You have to just sit down and do it every day, even if it's for 5 minutes. This thing took me 2 weeks to do, and that's okay. And no one's going to see it. It's in a book. No one's going to see it.
Well, that's too late now, because now it's out there.
Now it's out everywhere. Sorry.
To our 4 followers.
Yes, we have at least 6 followers now. Oh, it's so refreshing to talk to you, because it's you are really on a journey of discovery and work, and it's inspiring. It's interesting. I think what Marty was alluding to is it's something good came out of COVID. Something good came out of the place where you were not, I guess, forced to be in a place of more isolation. and you use that time amazingly. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched a bunch of Netflix videos, so I'm not feeling too good right now. It's like I could have done better.
You could become an artist.
I could have been a contender.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Think of all that time wasted.
Yeah. But
Do you find with being part of the River Artisans Cooperative that it kind of helps you keep focused to your art?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a huge, it's a huge part of, it just, I feel like an employee. I am an employee, right? So it gives me motivation to do it. And when somebody goes out and, I watch people who are in the store browsing and they see my art and they comment, I don't always tell them that, I was the one that created that thing. It just fills me with, so much happiness and joy when other people are, looking at my art and it's inspiring them and it's giving them a joyful feeling. There's just nothing better than that. I absolutely love it. And yeah, working for the River Artisans has been, a really huge blessing and a wonderful part of my life that, I can now say. So that's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I would encourage people to really go check out the River Artisans. It's kind of easy to walk by it and not really, know what's in there, but there's just a bevy of
it's really and the
locally crafted items. If you're looking for, I think I hear sometimes people that there's no place in town to buy gifts. Well,
Yeah,
there's
there
lots of
is.
places in town to buy gifts, and that's certainly one of the places in town to buy gifts is the River Artisans.
We have one more video, I think, and I think
Yeah.
I don't want to not show the video, so we're going to go with the next video here when Colin gets ready.
There it is.
There it is, the finished product. I know. I was so happy that you could capture the hat on him, because he was so.
Yes.
He just sat there one night with the hat on, just sat there, okay, they put a hat on me, whatever. So it really captured the essence of Jake. So if people were getting low, I think on time.
We have about 5 minutes left.
If people want to contact you to do commissions, what's the easiest and best way to contact you?
So you could just email me. It's first and last name, Caitlin Pollock at yahoo.com, CAITLINPOLLOCK at yahoo.com. That's probably the best way. You can also check out my Facebook page and feel free to like it. Always trying to get more of that. That's Hidden Seashells Studio. So Hidden Seashell Studio, 3 words. And then also just check me out at the River Artisans Cooperative. They have a lot of art there available. And also I have an Etsy page, but you can find the link to that right on my Facebook page. If you're interested in looking at that, I sell different things in the art store. And also at the River Artisans Cooperative, I also sell greeting cards that are, a really nice way to have original art. And I do mostly watercolor and calligraphy type stuff for that. And, it's all original. I don't do any prints or anything. So it's a nice way to have some of my art for a really affordable price.
No, that's great. Yeah. Do you ever go further afield and try to see other artists? I mean, is that something that helps or something that you're interested in doing? Like if the New York art scene or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just now kind of getting the confidence to go out and show my art and call myself an artist. So yeah, I mean, I'm always I'm open to traveling and meeting new people. And, once COVID, I think, stops, I'll be able to, really get out there and start going to art shows and things like that. But until now, I'm just trying to build up my Facebook page and, do art tutorials and reviewing art supplies and doing these time-lapse videos that people who, really like my art can kind of see things done in stages. So anyways, it's a good place for me to connect with the greater audience through that.
Yeah. Well, I see a lot of people, a lot of artists are drawn to Instagram now because of the, you can show your art. Do you do Instagram too, or?
I haven't. I'm under the no. I haven't. Social media has scared me until last week anyway, so I just decided to dip my feet into the Facebook, see where that gets me, and then probably Instagram at some point, just not right now.
Oh, yeah.
Totally get it.
Totally get it. But it's sort of like, it seems to be, there's, because I think the other thing that COVID has brought out is that people need alternative ways of connecting and sort of showing their art or getting their audience up, and I think yeah.
So just one quick question before we go. So what's next? Like, do you have another medium you want to try, or?
No, actually, so these pairs behind me are my first, or actually my second oil painting try. So, I think they came out really good. So I really like to get into human portraits. I'm scared of them and they always come out so bad, but I'm trying not to let that discourage me. And, so this was one of my first attempts at oil. So I feel like, oil painting might be kind of the next venture, and, with maybe some human portraiture, it will that might be my next step, but who knows? I just kind of lean into whatever, I'm feeling, and who knows?
That's awesome. You've been a total inspiration today, Caitlin, and I really would highly recommend, and so does Jake, highly recommend getting in contact. If you have a pet, maybe you might want to have the pet done while the pet's still living, as opposed to past, but definitely contact Caitlin at Caitlin Pollock at yahoo.com. Stop in River Artisans.
Yeah, and again, you were really inspirational. This is a very good show. I hope you'll come on again and talk about as you progress through your art. I can't believe that's the second oil you've done, but you're fantastic. Great. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Marty. And I think that's it for this week. See you in Bellows Falls. Don't forget to get out and vote and watch the forums and all that other stuff.